The other question is, how does taking care of a special needs child impact a marriage? And what would be the one tip you would give? Yo, some of my friends came guns blazing, right? I think I would say, just like any other family, having a child, regardless of the special need or not, can put a strain on a marriage if your foundation is not right. So I don't think it has anything to do. Yeah, I would give examples of financially, the child is expensive. So the same way finances can put a strain on any marriage is the same way this one comes with an extra motivation, because now the finances are life or death situations, like you can't skip anticonvulsants because we don't have money. You get it? So it's a elevated strain. There's also time, losing time with each other, because there's always someone you're caring about more. And if you're not careful, you care more about the child, and in our case, the children. And sometimes you can forget to care for your marriage and for each other. Um, and eventually, you could end up being strangers who are caring perfectly for their children. Um, the other way I'd say is, I don't have any other way. I think because I got married young, the one thing I can't say, and this goes out to the ladies, particularly the single ladies who are currently looking, you're like, oh my gosh, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. I was a young mom, and then I was a young mom who was lucky to have been loved, and therefore I got married immediately. But that also meant that I was a young mother to a special needs child that I didn't understand, and I was also learning how to be a wife at the same time. Learning those two roles at the same time was hard. Not impossible, it was just hard, because the fact that you're also young means that you've also not learned yourself. I didn't know myself that well. I mean, 21. And I was learning how to be not only a mother, but I was learning how to be a special needs mother. And then I started learning at the same time, because we moved out. I started learning how to be a wife, what that looks like. And those are two different roles, and two heavy roles to be learning concurrently. So that journey by itself is one that, if I'm able to, I tell, and people who come to me and ask me how, like, I don't know how, me God. Lakini, if you have the opportunity to learn both roles with a gap, I would advise you do that. Either learn to be a wife and then learn to be a mother. Doing it concurrently put a strain, because now I was concurrently learning how to be a mother, then I was learning how to be a wife, and then I was learning how to run a business. Because what is employment with our schedules for caregiving? Sometimes the first few years is a non-existent. Anyway, that's just another. It should be another section by itself. But yeah, so I would advise from a female perspective, maybe Mika would be better placed to speak from a male perspective how that was. But as a wife, I would say what ended up happening is I learned how to be a wife, and then I learned how to be a mother, and I forgot how to be myself. And that became dangerous because now your entire identity and your entire self, you don't, you're like someone who doesn't know themselves, but you know yourself, you know your role, you know your duties, you know your roles, but you don't know who you are. So it's only like later on that I started realizing, okay, Njoki, these are your strengths. This is what you're good at. This is what makes you happy. This is what makes you sad. This is how you operate. And because life is interesting like that, you're also changing in every aspect of, like, every, you're in a constant season of growth, as any individual should. So you're changing, yet you don't know who you are. You don't know, you've not invested enough to know who you are as a person, but you're giving. And I would say, now looking back, and now that I'm going through a season where I'm forgiving myself for the things that I did, and forgiving myself for not knowing any better, you know, and it's fine. The worst thing that could have happened is I don't learn the lesson from it. But I would say one tip is, if you're able to get to know yourself, and even if you're in a situation like mine, the same way I'm doing, or trying to do, trying to take time to learn yourself and enjoy that process. Yeah. So that you're able to even better show up for the people in your life, and you're also happy about it. Yeah.